People are worried that AI could replace jobs.
Shift focus to more creative or high-level problem-solving jobs.
It's all about creating accountability for how AI is deployed.
There's been a growing call for government oversight in the U.S. too,
Governments, businesses, and even the public need to work together. I think there's going to be a rise in smaller, more cost-efficient AI models.
AI might actually help with the environmental challenges we're facing too.
AI is evolving in a way that's more sustainable and easier to integrate into existing workflows.
All right, let's start with the obvious. Why is everyone losing their minds over AI? Like, is it really that serious?
It's definitely a big deal. I think the fear comes from the unknown. People are worried that AI could replace jobs, especially those in manual and repetitive roles. And let's face it, no one likes the idea of losing their livelihood to a machine.
True, but there's also this idea that AI is going to change everything for the better, right? Like businesses could run smoother and people could get more free time, not be stuck doing the same thing over and over.
That's one side of it. But here's the problem. Not everyone sees it that way. The truth is, AI is creating this huge divide. On one hand, you've got workers who feel threatened by automation. And on the other, you've got business leaders who see AI as a way to boost efficiency and cut costs.
I get that. It's almost like people are saying, hey, I don't want to work anymore. And businesses are like, well, here's AI to take over those tasks.
Exactly. The pandemic has changed a lot of things about how we work. People got used to being at home, flexible hours, and not dealing with the daily grind of an office. Now, businesses are seeing AI as a tool to keep things going without needing as many employees.
Oh, it's like AI is the answer to a problem businesses didn't know they had. People are less motivated to work, so AI comes in to fill the gap. But here's the thing. What happens to people who aren't ready for AI? What if they get left behind? Sure.
That's a huge concern. And it's not just about learning to work with AI. It's about understanding that this technology is moving fast. And if you don't keep up, you might find yourself out of a job. It's a call to action for the workforce to adapt.
But here's another thing. Not everyone has access to the kind of training or resources needed to learn about AI. There's definitely a gap in who benefits from AI. Some people are going to be left in the dust.
That's true. That's why we need policies in place to help people transition. It's not enough to just say, hey, AI is here. We need resources for people to learn, upskill, and retrain for these new roles.
So it's all about making sure that people don't feel like they're being left behind, right? Because if they do, that's when the resentment toward AI starts to grow.
Exactly. We need to make sure the workforce is prepared. But let's also talk about the impact AI could have on the types of jobs that remain. Some might argue that jobs will change, but they won't disappear.
I see your point. So if AI can handle the mundane tasks, people can shift focus to more creative or high-level problem-solving jobs, right?
Right. AI could take over things like data entry, customer service bots, even some forms of analysis. But that doesn't mean that's the end of human work. It just means people can focus on tasks that require empathy, innovation, and complex decision-making.
I like that idea, using AI to offload the boring stuff and letting humans do what we're good at. But then you've got to ask, will businesses keep human employees for the creative and high-level stuff? Or will they just rely on AI for everything?
Here's definitely a risk of that happening. But here's where I think businesses will have to balance. AI might handle routine tasks, but people will still be needed for innovation, strategy, and overseeing that AI. Plus, AI doesn't have emotions. It doesn't understand the nuances of human experience. That's where people come in.
True. So I guess the real question is, are people really not wanting to work, or is the nature of work just changing?
I think it's a bit of both. The pandemic has made people realize that there's more to life than the daily grind. But at the same time, AI is pushing us to evolve, adapt, and figure out what the future of work looks like.
But here's a thought. Could AI actually be a catalyst for a better work-life balance? If AI handles the repetitive stuff, could people get more time to focus on what matters?
That's the dream, right? Imagine if AI could take over tasks that don't require human creativity or intuition. Things like administrative work, data entry, or simple customer support. People could have more time for their families, hobbies, or even upskilling for new opportunities.
It's funny because on one hand, people are afraid of AI taking their jobs, but on the other hand, AI could give them more time for things they value more.
It's a bit of a paradox. But that's why it's so important to have these conversations. We need to understand that AI can be both a tool for progress and a challenge we have to manage. It's up to us to ensure it works for us, not the other way around.
Okay, so let's talk about the global perspective. In Europe, people are really worried about AI spreading misinformation and influencing elections, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of concern in places like Germany and the UK, especially when it comes to deepfakes and AI generated content. People are worried about AI being used to manipulate public opinion and interfere in democratic processes.
That's a serious issue. I mean, if AI is creating fake videos or news stories, it could completely shake the foundation of democracy. How do we stop that?
Regulation is the key. There needs to be oversight to ensure that AI is used responsibly and that these systems are transparent. It's all about creating accountability for how AI is deployed, especially when it comes to sensitive areas like elections.
And speaking of regulation, there's been a growing call for government oversight in the US too, right?
Yes, about 85% of Americans support consumer protection regulations for AI. People want more oversight to ensure that businesses don't misuse AI or create harmful products. In fact, a lot of people even believe there should be a dedicated federal agency for AI oversight.
Absolutely. We need some kind of watchdog to keep businesses in check and make sure AI doesn't spiral out of control. But here's a question. Can we trust the government to handle AI regulation? Governments don't always move quickly on new technology.
That's a valid concern. The pace of technological innovation far outstrips the ability of governments to regulate. But the truth is, we don't have much of a choice. If we want to make sure AI is developed and used responsibly, there has to be some level of regulation.
It's definitely a tricky balance. If governments regulate too much, it might stifle innovation. But if they regulate too little, we could end up with a free-for-all where AI is used irresponsibly.
Yeah, that's why finding the right balance is so critical. Governments, businesses, and even the public need to work together to ensure AI is developed in a way that benefits society as a whole.
So let's shift gears a little. With all this talk about AI, what about the business leaders who are embracing it? CEOs, for example. Are they excited about AI?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, nearly half of surveyed CEOs believe AI could take over much of their role. They see AI as a tool that can enhance efficiency, improve decision-making, and even predict trends. It's about using AI to make their businesses smarter and more agile.
That's kind of wild, right? Imagine being a CEO and having a machine do half of your job, but at the same time, it sounds like AI could make businesses a lot more efficient.
For sure. Think about it. AI can analyze massive amounts of data in seconds, identify trends, and make decisions faster than any human could. It's like having a superpower for business.
Okay, so if AI is such a game changer for businesses, how do regular people keep up with this rapid evolution? How do they learn to work with AI?
That's where practical, accessible training comes in. People need to be able to learn AI in ways that don't overwhelm them. I think there's going to be a rise in smaller, more cost-efficient AI models that can be used for practical, real-world applications.
Smaller, more efficient AI models, that's interesting. Are we talking about AI that doesn't consume as much energy or require massive server farms?
Exactly. AI is evolving in a way that's more sustainable and easier to integrate into existing workflows. It's not just about having huge AI systems that require tons of resources. Now we're seeing a push toward AI that's more environmentally friendly and practical.
So, in the end, AI might actually help with the environmental challenges we're facing too. Wow, I never thought about it that way.
Yep, AI has the potential to revolutionize everything, from how we work to how we take care of our planet. But like everything else, it's all about how we use it.
All right, I think we've covered a lot today. Hopefully everyone listening has a better understanding of what AI means for the world of work.
And remember, AI is a tool, one that can help us reach new heights, but it's up to us to make sure it's used for good.
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode, folks. We've taken a deep dive into the future of AI, its potential to reshape our jobs, and the challenges and opportunities it brings. It's clear that we're standing on the edge of something big, but how we handle this change will be the real test. If you've learned something new, or if this episode got you thinking about your own role in this AI-driven world, then make sure to share this podcast with a friend. Let's keep the conversation going. And hey, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time,